Hello, beautiful creatures of the world, and welcome back to Coffee with Kerri-Lynn. We are in the front yard today, so we do have to put up with some noise from the traffic. It's the coolest spot on the homestead. Got the music guys going through today. They played their music so loud that you can feel it in your chest. They're having a good time. I hope they are having a fantastic, fabulous day, just like I hope everybody is having a fantastic, fabulous day. I got a squeak in my wheel all of a sudden. This is what I do in my spare time. Well, not in my spare time. It's actually part of a job that I do on the homestead. This is the fiber end of my life, where I spin yarn. We talk all the time about prepping on the homestead. We talk about making sure we have enough food. We talk about making sure we have enough water. We talk about making sure we have enough heat for our homes. One of the things that we don't talk a lot about is making sure for those who have skills, crafting skills, making sure you have enough raw product. Spinning is a major component on the homestead. Not only do I have a small fiber business that I run out of the small corner of my kitchen, but I also make hats and scarves and gloves and socks and sweaters to keep the family warm. Today I'm spinning fine merino in case anybody wants to know. I have a very ambitious project. I need 3,000 yards. So it is a super huge, ambitious project for me to get through. I like to spin here in the front yard because we always have a beautiful breeze that comes across my neighbor's field, and it keeps my hands super dry while I spin. I like to do the bulk of my spinning. Then I'm going to get ready to hand dye in the summer, so I have projects that I can do all winter. In the spring, I start on socks and hats and gloves again. So that we have a decent store of knitwear to get us through the winter, and then during the winter I can do projects that are just relaxing, nothing too necessary. I like to make pocketbooks, and I like to do my weaving throughout the winter. So while we often talk about putting your food away in your pantry, some time needs to be spent talking to the people with craft skills. We saw what happened in 2020 with the disruption in the distribution at our stores. Those disruptions in distribution are going to happen again. A lot of the weird stuff from 4 years ago is going to happen again. We made sure that in 2020, before the supply chain ran dry, we made sure that we had a boatload of crafting supplies. Because not only is this a crafting thing for me, it is also my business. And locally, 2020, 2021, when there was massive disruptions in the supply chain, locally, I was selling out like crazy because people could not get their raw product anywhere but locally. And the people who had sheep were selling wool for astronomical prices in agricultural country. Ladies and gentlemen, beautiful creatures of the world, knitting, spinning, it used to be a staple in American lifestyle on the homestead, and it is now a dying art form. Just about every house had a spinning wheel, and if you didn't have a spinning wheel, you had a spindle. There was a way for the woman of the household to turn their raw wool, their fleece, into yarn so that their family could have socks, hats, mittens, gloves, sweaters, scarves, necessities against the cold winter chill. If you're a crafter, I can guarantee you there's going to be another huge disruption in the supply chain. It's not a prediction. You don't need to be a rocket scientist to see what's going on in the world. Get your craft supplies. Get a bit ahead. Stick them on a shelf, just like you do your food goods. Because I think we're going to be in for a very wild ride. Something that is going to rival the Great Depression. If you don't know about the fourth turning, Google it. If you don't know anything about Agenda 2030, Google it. What we saw with the supply chain break in the early 20s is going to happen again. And I think it's going to happen in the beginning of 2025. That would be my best guesstimate. Ladies and gentlemen, beautiful creatures of the world, if you do not have a skill, try to learn a skill. A skill to produce something for your family that is getting very expensive at the store. If you don't know how to sew, but you've always wanted to learn how to sew. And if you do know how to produce crafty items, and you do use that skill to keep your family warm, then by all means think about the fact that that skill at some point can be used to barter with. We talk about a barter system all the time on the homestead, because we experienced in the early 20s when people couldn't get things at the store, they came to the homestead wondering if we would sell some of our extras. Chicken eggs, chickens. It was a boom for the fiber business. Ladies and gentlemen, beautiful creatures of the world, Carpe Diem. Because no one promised you a tomorrow.